Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. Today I'll be inviting Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, and she'll be sharing her perspective, especially with regards to her recent tweets on the Doan College saga involving little Sylvester, Oromoni, and his family. So please make sure you sit back, relax, and listen. Let's have a balanced perspective. Share your comments below if you have any questions. And do understand that I'm very emotional about this because a 12-year-old child is very close to the heart of a parent. That's right smack dab in the middle of the growing of growing up with your parents. You're neither an adult or a teenager, and you're no longer a child. You're just somewhere in between, and that's the time you need your parents the most. As you evolve from a child into a teenager, 12 is right there, the preteen age, and the children are usually very close to their parents at this time, and it saddens me that something like this happens or happened, and I do hope this would be a precedent, and this would be a, how do I put it, a catalyst for change in our educational sector. So let's invite Dr. Kemi Olunloyo and see how this goes. Thank you so much, all of you. Let's make sure we have a splendid day. And remember to keep your comments respectful. Please like my videos and share them so I can provide you with more content.
This child may not get 1 ounce of justice.
Why do you say so, or why do you think so?
Huh?
Why do you think so?
Now, you have to like think this way. I am not paid by anybody. That has to get off their heads first. This case involves minors. You were doing a video last week, Freeze, and I was watching it and I couldn't get your attention. That video was about children have been flown abroad, and I was trying to say, Freeze, nobody has been flown abroad. These children are here.
Can you verify that the children are here? Can you verify that they're here? Let me repeat. Can you verify that 100% they're here?
There's some people around me, Freeze.
Yeah.
That because they're around me, they get exclusive information. One, my neighbors. My neighbors. 2, my bank manager. 3, my doctor. Okay? I've been going to see the doctor because of my ear, nose, and throat. So when I go into the doctor might say, Dr. Kemi, Auntie Kemi, blah, blah, blah. She's told, like, what's the latest, blah, blah, blah. They get to know. So when you were doing that video, I said, these children are here. Nobody has been flown abroad. That's the first thing that went on social media. The children have been, flown abroad. They fled the country, blah, blah, blah. Those people around me, I told them, I said, there are 3 specific children involved in this case. One of them is the son of a politician. 2 of them are the children of very prominent public figures that we know and we like. Do you have any public figure that you know or you like? There's many. There's some public figures Nigerians know and they like. And these ones are the ones we like. These are their children. I can't mention any names.
Which is good.
2 children were added to the list, so making 5. Remember when the arrest started, it was, we have 3 kids in our custody. My bank manager, he messaged me and said, Auntie Kemi, those are the 3 you were talking about. I said, yes, now. I'm inside this case. You just can't see me. Okay, there are many people a journalist can go to. A journalist has sources. We cannot reveal the source. I trended on Twitter. Freeze, did you see Twitter all day?
No, I'm not on Twitter, unfortunately. For a while now, I've not been on Twitter. I find it's...
I was trending all day. Number 3, Kemi. Just the word Kemi. And if you went in there, 11,000 tweets. It's now 12,000.
Let me check.
From America. An investigative journalist at USA Today spoke to me and said, "What's going on now? I saw you trended." I said, "But I'm not the only Kemi." He said, "But everything was about you and a kid that died." I said, "Yeah." Because Nigerians choose to ignore what I'm saying and call me names, not focused. Mad woman, take your drug, take this. What do you know about Sylvester Oromoni? The first mistake his parents made was to run to social media with that child's video. The video that the parents showed on social media with the child screaming in pain should never have gone online. That's not the first place you go.
Now, Auntie
When you
Kemi,
go to that...
Auntie Kemi, I'm sorry, I want to ask a question. Because in my humble opinion, you are right, but that was the video that drew public sympathy. That was what got people talking. For instance, it was that video I saw that made me interested in the case. So even though it might not be a good legal strong point, in the court of public opinion, it is a weighty punch that the parents threw. So in my opinion, I know you might disagree with this, but I think it was, at the end of the day, quite useful.
Well, social media was created for socializing, but in journalistic and criminal terms, freeze. I've been a journalist 27 years, and in those 27 years, 10 years out of it, I solved child murders, the shooting of children in Canada. Okay? So I know what involves this kind of cases. I want to compare it to what you just said. When you are dealing with children that are dead, and you are dealing with the shooters or the killers of these children, and those killers or alleged killers are children themselves, under 18, then you have a problem. In Canada, we can be arrested for just revealing the name of a minor. What did I see on social media, on Instablog? They didn't believe the police, that the police had made arrests. People were saying,
we want the names.
Faces, post their names. You cannot do that when it comes to minors. One of our biggest musicians in Nigeria, I wouldn't mention their name. He was 15. Freeze, you know what I'm talking about. One of our big musicians was 15 years old. And they bullied him. He couldn't take it anymore and took a knife and stabbed the other boy and killed him. And he spent almost 7 years in juvenile detention, kiddie prison. Today, he's an adult. He's a singer, award-winning. You can't find it anywhere online that he did time in juvenile detention because he was a juvenile. So the juvenile protection laws protected him. You know what I mean?
I sent you a DM asking. I sent you a DM asking who is it. Just code it. Just. Now, I won't mention it, but just for my information.
I'm using 2 phones too. You can't find it online because, you know, there's a case like that in Canada where Ephraim Brown was an 11-year-old, was shot in the neck by gang members. Do you remember a video that circulated from Puerto Rico yesterday? Some gang members outside a supermarket, and there was a drive-by shooting. Do you remember?
I heard about it.
It's like that. The drive-by shooting was so bad. Hold on. I'm sorry. The gang shooting was so bad that what happened was... Hold on. I'm just trying to see. Yeah. What happened was the people they caught were young. They were under 18, 16 and 17. So when they prosecuted them, nobody could see their face or hear their names. So when those kids grew up, one of them got into a crime. I've answered your DM. When those kids grew up, one of them got into a crime. And somebody accidentally said, "Oh, wasn't this one of the kids that shot Ephraim Brown?" And they weren't supposed to say it. A judge can arrest you. Canada's Youth Offender Act. Okay? There's some Nigerians in Canada who are writing the same nonsense. There's one Annabelle Oromoni in Canada, who tweeted me yesterday and said all journalists in Nigeria are a disgrace. All journalists, should be fighting for Sylvester. Why should we be fighting for Sylvester? Journalists don't fight for people. We're supposed to defend media freedom. Okay, defending media freedom said, hello there. Sylvester's family, keep quiet. Don't end school. Shut up. I'm a journalist. I'm here to defend media freedom, meaning that I'm looking for the truth here. I'm not here for any of you. I'll go inside that school. I do my investigation, find the truth, and leave. That's what it is. If you want people to fight for you, that's activists that do that, not journalists. Well, I happen to be both activists and journalists. And I clearly said I don't activate in Nigeria anymore since last year. Because Nigeria is full of fake activists. Every one of them is collecting cash back and forth. So at the end of the day, the first thing they did that was wrong was they took the whole thing to social media. That should have taken straight to the police. Never social media. That's the mistake they made. First mistake. Oromoni family should have gone straight to the police with that video. Because the public saw that video, it has affected the case. Now, let me tell you about the kids arrested. All 5 children arrested. Are you listening?
I'm listening clearly. I want to ask a question, but finish.
They were males and they were all under 18. Meaning that you're never going to find out their names or see their pictures. Now, one of Kashamu's children was released. I said released. The picture of one of Kashamu's children. I think this is the one that Kashamu had with the youngest wife. The 35 or 33-year-old wife. Okay, Burji has passed away last year of COVID-19. Burji was wanted in America for drug trafficking a long time ago. That whole crew they arrested for Orange is Black. At the end of the day, I read people calling his father a criminal and all that. See, that's the stuff that will destroy the investigation. All right? Michael Kashamu's family said he may have been involved, but he didn't kill anybody. The other 4 children, you don't even want to know whose children these are, because if they announce that, that just, oh God. You now say, what happened? Did the family not give them home training? Number 2, where is a journalist supposed to get it? If I say Kemi should be called to testify, I can testify. It'll just damage the case more. You never want to call a journalist to testify because, one, whenever you don't know what journalism is, you think it's all this reporting and mass communication. No. Mass communication is totally different from journalism. We now come to court and start, we can't reveal the source. Think about it. Use your brain, people. There's a lot of you out there. You've woken me up. I can't sleep again. So let me just do it like I was on a Rise News or something. Or Silverbird. Let me do it that way, okay? All right. Shut those comments because I need to concentrate here.
All right.
I'm not getting young. Shut those comments. I don't want to see anybody's opinion. Nobody can comment on my pages anymore. None. Okay, can we go? Okay.
Yes.
Basically, you're lucky because I'll do it over. Okay, guys. Hi, how are you? Good morning, everybody. Dr. Kemi Olunloyo. Basically, Freeze, what's going on here is that the Sylvester Oromoni case, okay, is it Oromoni? That case is dead on arrival, DOA. And I'm not here for sentiments. A lot of Nigeria are here for sentiments. All day I was trending because of this topic, because of some information that I revealed that Sylvester himself wanted to be in some kind of group or peer group, okay, and that he forced himself, into this thing. People were cursing me left and right and center on social media, saying that I have no heart and all that. That doesn't bother me, okay? I don't really want to hear from people. I have restricted any kind of feedback on any of my platforms. I'm here to give you news, information, and that's it. Whatever you want to say it. 12,000 tweets trending does not bother me. The biggest mistake that Sylvester's parents made was they posted a video on social media of the child in pain, and it was a very graphic video. Like his mouth swollen, even bloody, just a lot of painful stuff. It was graphic, and it didn't need to be on social media. The first place you go is to the police with a video like that. Now, I do understand what you said, Freeze, that was the video that actually gave the case public opinion and exposed the case to the public. Sometimes videos like that have actually damaged the case. So the reason I'm saying this is one woman got in touch with me before Sylvester came up. This would be last month. The woman's name is Deborah Okezi, and she's the mother of Don Davis. The reason she got in touch with me through email was just to say, hi, Dr. Kemi, how are you? I just want to thank you for the good work you're doing. That's it. I get emails like that just to thank me. I get emails like, oh, Dr. Kemi, someone sent me $200 tonight from America. Okay, I don't even know who they are, but the person wrote a lengthy letter. The person said, Dr. Kemi, I've been following your work for a long time. I'm sending you $200 tonight to help your work. Thank you for launching an investigation on Sylvester. I am like Sylvester. I was bullied, blah, 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 but not what everybody thought it was. I found myself out of Nigeria, moved to Canada, became the CEO of my own company. He said some great stories, but he sent that $200 because he said, I notice all the time you're always struggling for funds to launch investigations because you're an independent journalist. So here's my contribution. Keep up the good work. Nigerians love sentiments, blah, blah, blah. He said so many nice things, okay? But I sit in this country and people say I've been bribed, I've been paid, I've been doing. That doesn't make them focus because they believe someone has bribed me to change the narrative. No. I'm an investigative journalist, and I defined an investigative journalist in a different light in Nigeria. Because I defined it in a different light, people are finally understanding what it's about. You cannot be fearful of anybody in investigative journalism. Sylvester's parents killed this case. Now, why am I saying they killed the case? Because they formed sentiments on social media that supports them. Have we heard from Sylvester? No, we can't hear from him because he's dead. But we've heard from other people. This is where I come in. I did not officially launch an investigation. I asked questions. I dug into questions. And so, hang on, freeze. And so, which means who? Who is Lami Phillips Badamosi? She's supposed to be the owner of the school. She's supposed to be a proprietor of the school. One, how much do they pay in this school? 1 million per term? Is that 3 million per child? Okay, Oromoni had how many children in that school? 3. 2 daughters and a son, 9 million. What does he do for a living? You got to dig into all this stuff. Remember, when Fatou Yimbo and Busola were fighting this rape case, when Sheito and Dibanjo were fighting theirs, when Kashi was pushed from a balcony, according to people who said Barry J did it, when all this stuff was happening, remember, the mainstream media did not get involved. The mainstream media does not get involved in investigative cases. Did you see Channels News probing Fatou Yimbo, probing Busola? No. Channels News told me, Auntie Kemi, we have done enough for them. Meaning we've done enough stories about them. Why would they dig into that stuff? Do you know who John Mama is? Is John Mama a friend to Fatou Yimbo or a friend to Timi Dakolo? He's a businessman. He owns Channels News. What about Jagaban, who's chairman of TVC? Can he legally investigate certain people because of conflicts of interest? You never know. This is why the mainstream guys don't touch these cases. What about Olu Aboderi, my uncle, who owns Punch? How much can Punch, how much can Punch report? So know the basis. Go ahead with your question, Freeze.
Okay. First question is, yes, we don't know what the father does for a living. However, be careful not to mix issues because the father's income or whatever it is doesn't take away what happened or doesn't water down what happened to the...
Right. I haven't finished that part yet. You got to investigate everybody. If Oromoni is paying $9 million for 3 children there, and there's one child there called Michael Kashamu, the son of a late politician, and he's paying his own $3 million. Some people say for a politician's child to pay $3 million is peanuts versus a businessman who worked hard for $9 million to send 3 children there. I'm just saying that in the context of who is paying what. Why are they all going to that school? Why is someone in Delta sending their child to an exclusive Lagos school? Don't get me wrong, Freeze. You and I grew up in Ibadan. Freeze, you went to ISI. And you know that many people that went to St. Teresa's, my school, or ISI, and they were in boarding school, they were actually from Lagos and other states. Remember that? There are many children that came to boarding school that were living in Lagos. So when the end of the term comes, you know how they pack their load now, and the parents will pick them up, or they go and carry moto eku. Abi? Okay. They were not coming to St. Teresa's because they had money. It was a public school. It was because St. Teresa's was an elite girls' school. Everybody wanted their children to go to that school, or Queen's School. Yeah, you know, Queen's School, St. Teresa, St. Louis, whatever. There was boarding house. But today, to send a child to a faraway school, it's not uncommon. My late brother, Oyeleke, 17 years old, was in Adesoye College in Offa. Okay, and we lived in Ibadan. My mother would drive, what's the name of that young man? Ladoja's son that passed away. You know, he died in a car accident. Debo and Oyeleke, my mother would drive them to school, even though both of them are not with us anymore. But in those days, it used to be like that. When my mother was driving Oyeleke back to Offa in Kwara State, she'll pick the Ladoja boy up. You know, his father too was a governor. So that's how it was. But in today's day and age, it's very unusual to see that. Now, I'm paying $9 million for 3 children, and one of my child is being bullied. How long has it been going on? That's the first thing. Like I said, I did not launch an investigation because of one reason. Of course, funding. I don't have money for all this stuff. Let the mainstream media handle it. They wouldn't handle it. Number 2, because once you start an investigation, they paid her. They paid Kemi, they've paid stuff doesn't let Nigerians, you know what I mean? It doesn't let Nigerians focus. Now, the second thing, who are the teachers in that school? Who are the house masters in that school? Who runs what in that school? I can tell you the core of the case is damaged now because of one thing. The children are minors. The culprits, alleged culprits, are minors. Everybody's under 18. Which brings a rule. I'm not a lawyer, but I asked my own lawyer this question today. I said, the Youth Offender Act in Canada, you know, if you commit a crime in Canada, where I lived and where I got most of my glory as an investigative journalist, I solved 13 murders. Toronto police commended me when the government deported me for antagonizing gun laws. I accused the Prime Minister of designing gun laws to kill Black children. And Harper and the Conservatives made sure I didn't stay in that Canada. And the Liberals fought for me. It was Justin Trudeau, okay, that eventually won that election. And, you know, he really tried for me. He's the Prime Minister and still the Prime Minister now. At the end of the day, let's go back. Who are these 13 murders that I helped Toronto police solve? They were children under 18, and their killers were also under 18. Canada's law, and if you're in Canada and you're watching, you know that. So don't come pointing hands at Auntie Kemi because of Sylvester, okay? You cannot show their face, and you cannot mention their name. I was talking about a big musician. I've told you who it is. A big musician who was said to have stabbed and killed somebody that bullied him a lot. That musician's name never came out. Okay, it's not going to come out on this broadcast. You already know who it is. His name did not come out because the youth law in the UK protected him. They do this so that they can protect their future. All right? Ephraim Brown's shooting in Canada, same thing. The youth that shot and killed Ephraim Brown was under 18. But one of them committed a crime at 24. And someone posted on social media that, this is one of them that killed Ephraim Brown. You see how they went to leak that information? It can't be a journalist, okay? Because if it's a journalist, I can be arrested in Canada for that. We have to be careful. So when it comes to these children, 5 of them, 3 of them as children of very big public figures. One of them has already been outed, a politician's child. And the family said, no, Michael did not do anything, no. All these families are saying their children did not do anything. So let's go back to the school, Donwen College. I don't have to get out of this bed before I knew what was going on in Doane College. People have brain, have sense. I'm reading a lot of it on Twitter. The woman, they sit for her room for Ibadan. They investigate something will happen for Lekki school. I'm not even in Ibadan. I'm even in Lekki self. At the end of the day, that's not the point. The point is this. I don't have to be in Syria to know that Assad has killed a lot of children with poison gas. Journalism is not about being in the place. It's about eyewitness stuff. Who are the people tending to these children? They call them house masters. We know them now. Maybe when I was in St. Teresa's, there were 4 houses, okay, and I was in St. Teresa's house. Okay, there was St. Agnes' house, St. Maria Goretti, and also Our Lady of Apostles' house. But there was only one headmistress living in that compound. All of us had headmistress now, house mistress. Is that how you call it? Okay, the only house mistress that was living in the entire compound happened to be living in a building apartment in the school compound. That was Mrs. Shongoawa. Mrs. Shongoawa is still alive. She's probably 80 now. I still saw her at the school's 85th anniversary 3 years ago. But Mrs. Shongoawa, she lived in the compound, but she was only the house mistress for St. Teresa's house. Now, she would come to the house in the morning, make sure everybody has taken their bags and run to school. She would scare everybody. But at the same time, she was watching all 4 houses. Now, where were the house masters for each house? None, because they designated the senior students to do that. When I was a junior, senior students would punish me now. Kemi, Olunloyo, kneel down, go and wash toilet. When we became seniors, we did the same thing. You come here, go and get my food. You come here. But bullying as in beating and all that, no. There was a hierarchy of gangs inside that school. Okay, now don't get me wrong. What you guys are calling cults here is what the Americans and the Canadians call gangs. Gang banging, gang members. Even though those ones over there, they have guns, they're on the street, they're not in any boarding house, they're not in any prison. But cultism is what you call it in Nigeria. What do cultism entails? They have them in universities. They have them now in secondary schools, but in an elite secondary school, very awkward. Darwin University moved these children from one dormitory to the new dormitory. When this new dormitory, I wish the owner of this school, Lamy Phillips, but Amosi is watching. When that new dormitory was built and they moved those kids over there, this is investigative journalism, my dear. Okay? When they moved those children to that new dormitory, that was the nightmare of the century. They did not anticipate it would happen. Those students were watching themselves. There was nobody in charge of them.
Now, sorry, can you prove that it was, do you have evidence to prove that it was when they moved to the new building that all this started? Or
Freeze, are you not in the media? Journalists have evidence. We just can't tell you our source. They have a new dormitory over there. When they moved into that new dormitory, look, I said this case is dead on arrival, but a lot of liability that's going to come out of this case is going to go on Lamy Phillips. Let me just tell you this part right now. Do you know one of those cases that, that we know somebody's guilty, but the courts did not find them guilty, and then everybody rushes and sues that person? Do you know a case like that? O.J. Simpson's case. When Kardashian, okay, if you remember Kardashian and Cochran, attorney Johnny Cochran and attorney Robert Kardashian. Remember those days? I want Kim, these Kardashian girls, they were like 10, 12, 13 those days. Okay, I was in my early 30s. Okay, when this case happened, Robert Kardashian argued that O.J. Simpson did not kill Nicole. Okay, and the one thing that sparked the judge and the jury was the gloves. When they took the bloody gloves that the police was supposedly planted there, when OJ was told to wear the gloves, did the glove fit? No. Case over. So he was acquitted. And somebody killed Nicole and that boyfriend. Now, what did the families do? They sued OJ Simpson in what they call a civil suit. So what I'm saying is that this case in Darwin, they're not going to be able to get justice for Sylvester in a criminal case. what they're going to get is a civil suit at the owners of the school. Let me go back to the dormitory. When the new dormitory opened, they moved all these kids over there, especially the seniors.
Now, hold on a second. Sorry. Somebody
This
said
part is
something.
very important too.
I know, just before you say that, someone said something to me and sent me a video of a forum that was held by some Doan parents, if I get this correctly. And the person said bullying existed even before the new dormitory. That the new dormitory only worsened the bullying. According to what this person said, and quoted a forum. I don't know if you watch that teachers forum. Let me play a bit of it for you. This one.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it too.
I was a guidance counselor for many years.
Where's that video?
I will forward it to you.
Forward it to me. I want to see that. That's a teachers forum.
Mentioned and all that. So we can say yes, it is alleged. However, because I don't have this information, it was alleged during this session, and it was also alleged by the person who sent this to me that there was bullying in the school.
That's possible.
And right after the new dormitory.
It's possible.
From perspectives here and there and information available to the public. Sorry for cutting you. Please continue with your thoughts.
What I'm saying, I'm going to forward me that video. Forward me that video. What I'm saying, Freeze, is that the new dormitory, okay, had no supervision whatsoever. Okay, from the people I've spoken to past, present, and past teachers, present teachers, past alumni, present alumni. Alumni is someone that went to a school. People that graduated from Doan. Okay, I have spoken to a lot of people this week. Like I said, I don't need to get out of this bed to do investigative journalism. It's called phone calls, emails, all that. And what I found out was that there was no supervision at the new dorm. Lammy Phillips is going to take a hit for that when it comes to liability, because leaving these children without supervision, anything can happen. Children under 18 especially, when they commit a crime or they do something, you can't charge these people just like that. Were there CC cameras in that dormitory? No. Did these children have access to electronic devices? Yes. Now, in boarding schools, generally, you're not supposed to have access to so many things. Are these children, do they have phones? Are they on the internet? Yes. Okay, there was a lot happening there that could have been captured by other students that even the principal, the proprietor doesn't know about. Now, let me tell you something. Anyone that wants to curse me out can curse themselves or their families, because the place I'm going right now is very sensitive. And this is why that Oromoni girl was cursing me out on Twitter. Okay, when you're cursing me out, you don't want to say God punish me. Okay, I'll tell you straight up, God punish you and your family. Idiots. Okay, you don't drag a journalist's professional reputation because your cousin died. Okay, you don't tweet that the stupid woman has been paid. No one has paid me. Okay, Annabella or Oromoni. Nobody pays me, okay? Because if all these people have been paying me and all that, I'd be a billionaire and I wouldn't be sitting here. So stop it. Listen to the fact. The truth is bitter. Sylvester Oromoni wanted to belong. It is called peer pressure. Peer pressure. Simple. It happens every day in schools, whether it's boarding or not. I want to belong to that group. I like that group. They didn't allow him. Sylvester was scared.
Now,
many things he was saying. Hey, imagine King back we thought he freeze. It be by what very important. Because this is the part that we always say in journalism: dead men don't talk. Okay, he was very scared of some things he saw, and he couldn't say it all. He has mentioned the 5 people that bullied him, allegedly bullied him. I have to say allegedly because they're allegations. Why hasn't his parents listed those people online? They know they can't. They know they can't because those are minors and it's not proven. And they know that it will damage the case. That is why they showed that video of that poor kid, okay, in pain and suffering. That video made the situation worse. Everyone in that video needs to take a lie detector. The only thing that will help this case right now is to bring in a lie detector. Let them all take a lie detector. Sylvester was said to be, too many questions, Freeze, let me talk. Was said to be scared of some of the things he saw other bullies doing. He wanted to belong to this one group because if you're in their group, you may not be bullied. Do you know that? If you are in their group, you might be their houseboy, you might be the one. I saw this in Port Harcourt prison, where some of the girls in cell 2, they want to hang out with the cell 1 girls, but they knew they were not our caliber. Okay, cell 1 was called GRA.
Sorry,
the,
Auntie Kemi,
hey, Frizzle.
like, don't be angry, but in this particular instance, we don't have proof, and Sylvester is late. He's no longer alive to defend himself.
You
now,
have to use the
law,
proof you have.
there's what you call a dying declaration.
I do know that.
Whatever said as he was passing is considered weighty in law. And he mentioned these people saying they bullied him. You have an alternative perspective. And unfortunately, we don't have evidence to prove your alternative perspective. We have evidence.
I have evidence.
Oh, you have evidence?
I have evidence. I told you now in the first video.
That's
if the court calls me into that, if the courts subpoena me, okay, into that courtroom, the testimony I will give will damage that case for that family. Nigerians want them to win and everything. That's not what's going to happen. So what's going to happen is this. Do you know how many cases I've done? The prosecutors can't bring me in if Fatoyinbo's case was ever charged to court because I will prove people wrong. That's, if you're bringing a journalist to a case, you're taking a huge chance because there are receipts. This is the reason why Deji Adeleke was told not to sue me. Okay, because I said some things about Veronica when she was alive. I still have her conversations on the phone. So if I were to, oh, Davido should sue Kemi, Davido's dad should sue me, blah, 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 it would not benefit them. It'll just bring out a can of worms. Ask me the next question, Freeze. Why isn't the mainstream media journalist doing everything I'm doing right now? This is where we have a problem in Nigeria. Nobody wants to do it because their bosses or their owners have told them not to do it. Now, Sylvester's accusers' parents, I've spoken to some of them. Okay? I've spoken to house masters. I've spoken to past, present, different people. And the way I am now with my work, I don't have to speak to anybody. They come right to me in my email. They call me. I verify who's calling. I verify who's emailing. Okay? And when I verify them, the whole only agreement is, please don't mention my name. And that's where journalists is handy. We cannot reveal the source. Policemen inside the investigation. The first officer that called me inside the investigation said, Dr. Kemi, please, can you please shout down media? Can you please shout down social media and let them know that we actually have arrested these kids. They're not abroad. Because this thing about them being flown abroad is making the police look bad.
That the kids, none of the kids involved is abroad. So that story.
No, nobody was flown abroad.
Is false.
They've been, Freeze, they've been almost 2 weeks. Today is Saturday. Today will be almost 2 weeks, 12 days that they've been in juvenile detention. We have juvenile detention in Nigeria. I didn't think we had them until I went to Port Harcourt prison. In Port Harcourt prison, juvenile detention kids usually came to our prison, okay, for excursion. They will bring them and they will tell us they're from juvie. So when they come to our own section, we will be telling them, if you continue this rubbish, you will end up here in the adult section, and it could be for life. Sure, you understand? That's when I found out that we actually have juvie in Nigeria. Those kids have been in juvenile detention under a lot of questioning. The 3 adults are housemasters. Where were you? Okay, according to one of the housemasters, Sylvester, was given engine oil to drink because he was being initiated into the group. He was well aware of the requirements. You have to be beaten. You have to drink this. You have to do that. But he could not make the requirements. He was overwhelmed by the requirements. Look at how that boy was screaming in pain. Look at his mouth. Look at the damage things happened to his body. This is where Lammy Phillips.
Let me ask you a
This
question.
is where Lammy Phillips comes in. Lammy Phillips said in a press release, okay, number one, that press release was late. Okay. My second degree is public relations management. And I got that first class degree because of one part of that course. It's called crisis communication. I was good at that. I've done a lot of crisis counseling and crisis communication where I had to talk to the media about a crisis. Did they have a PR team in that school? That thing should have come out. The first press release should have come out like the day after that boy died. Okay, the second press release came out and they're saying a leg injury. You can't buy that. A leg injury can kill you, but this was not a leg injury from sports. Okay, which is where I agree with you that the video the family brought out would corroborate other things. You know what I mean? Like the mouth, the swelling, the blood, everything. Okay, the pain and the screaming could also corroborate a leg injury. If the leg is in pain, honest to God, I had foot surgery last year. I was screaming like that when I came out of surgery. All right. And Welt will remember. Welt is the artist that I used to represent at that time. The one that the police harassed in Badore when I was there with him. And Welt will attest to that because Welt took me to all my clinic appointments and he knew the pain I was in. So internal pains, the father said he saw black liquid inside the autopsy. They found a black liquid. Does a black liquid look like engine oil? Possibly. Where did they get it? Whose engine oil was it? Was it in the car of a housemaster or somebody? Remember, the children also had their own masters. The housemasters also had their own pets. Were you a housemaster pet in boarding school? Oh, yeah, you there. Give me one typical boy's name. Kayode, go in the car and get me my bag. The child goes into the car and gets the bag and the engine oil in the boot. They could possibly hide that and say, okay, Oromoni, drink this. Basically, there was no supervision in those dormitories. The new dormitory, there was no supervision whatsoever. Who were there? Who were the past? Some of the past ones said they quit the job. Some of the present ones said, true, it wasn't my section, but those children over there, they were gangsters. They were forming gangs within the dormitory. And that's what you guys call cults. They were forming cults. They had rituals, things they had to do. When Sylvester was told that he had to be beaten, this is coming from one of the kids in the investigation. You know, we can't mention their names and we can't say we can't show their pictures. When we told him that he must be beaten, he agreed. Sylvester had a peer pressure issue. He wanted to be part of a group, partly because one of the kids is saying, partly because he was scared of some things he saw. Daddy Freeze, do you sincerely believe that I will translate to English, but Okamila and Mochifeson Yoruba. Freeze tekwe. What you when you get bullied like crazy? Nibikon. I want if were bullied. One agree that you join group here, at least let you show more don't want. You know what I mean? That's what I was telling you about the Port Harcourt prison. They sell 2 girls that wanted to be in a circle. They had to do something for us in return. Cook our food. You give them 1 raw egg, 1 packet of Indomie, and you go and tell them to go and cook it. So they become the pets of the bigger boys. So to avoid them being bullied or anything. They become the pets. This boy gave consent to them, allegedly. Okay, he cannot talk, he cannot represent himself. But why would Sylvester be saying last minute? Why would Sylvester be saying last minute before he died that 5 people bullied him? And no one knew. Not his parents. His parents didn't know that he had prior bullying. Not the staff of the school. Why did he say that last?
The parents had to change hostel. According to the report we heard from the parents allegedly had to change his hostel
to another one.
So, and also, you can't give, you see, there's also consent under duress. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just trying to punch holes in your analysis, saying that he gave consent to be initiated. Sometimes when you're under intense pressure, you might agree to do something that you really don't want to do.
Correct.
I personally don't see the little Sylvester boy, may his soul rest in peace, as someone who would want to be part of a gang. He doesn't look it. I may be wrong, but I don't see that in him. I see him as a gentle kid.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. You said you don't see it in him. 14-year-old Adrian Johnston. You can Google Adrian Johnston murder. Please hold on. I want to see this because I dealt with this case in Canada. The situation, hold on. Freeze, can you have your other phone there?
Yeah, have it.
Can you Google just Google Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N. Adrian.
In school, in a school in the first place, if this story you're saying is true, where did the gangs even come from? How did we even get there?
Oh, good. I pulled it up. If you pull up if you pull up Adrian Johnston murder, okay, you will see a lot of videos. The story, Toronto.com, 14th of August, 2009. The Toronto.com picture, 14-year-old. Do you see that picture? That was my case. I'm the one that handled that one. Adrian did not look like a gang member. Adrian, instead of planning his 15th birthday, Stephanie Johnston, okay, if you see that place she's talking, I mean, that press conference, Stephanie Johnston is mourning her son's death. Adrian was gunned down in a hydro field on May 11th in Scarlett Road. Let me tell you about it. My son was viciously murdered on Mother's Day. Okay, the day after Mother's Day. Let me just tell you about Adrian Johnston. Adrian did not look like a gang member or somebody that wanted to be in a gang. Innocent, looked 14. But Adrian was going to be initiated into a gang in the area. So one of the requirements... Wait, let me finish. This is how we have to explain to people. Freeze, wait. This story, see, with me as a journalist, I have to bring you receipts. This was my case, Adrian Johnston.
My question now to you is, in a 3 million naira a year per child school, why do they have gangs? If your story is true, where are the gangs from?
That's why I have to tell you this. Let me, Freeze Jenkins Sorrow. Freeze Jenkins Sorrow. This is why I have to explain this case in Canada to you. Okay? If you read this article, there's many things. Thank God for the internet. These are receipts of cases I worked. 14-year-old Adrian Johnston was killed in Toronto. They said he was being initiated into a gang. Stephanie Olisofun, like gang. Adrian looked very innocent, half-caste boy. But Adrian was trying to join a gang. And one of the requirements was that he must kill someone at a certain bus stop in Toronto. So what happened was that another family of an 18-year-old, Jarvis and Remy, Jarvis was killed at a bus stop. And I was working with Jarvis's mom to solve his own murder. I was working with his mom and Toronto police. Meanwhile, the week after, Adrian gets gunned down. And now the gang members went online, posting all kinds of stuff that he made the first requirement by shooting the person at the bus stop. As an investigative journalist, I quickly called the detectives and homicide. I turned to police. Could it be Adrian that shot Jarvis? The two mothers who are doing press conferences with me, I now had to bring them together. Who shot Adrian? That was where the clue was. We cannot say who are the gang members. A school that's expensive. Adrian went to a very good school. Jarvis went to a very good school. School konon. But it took an investigative journalist from Nigeria to unravel it and talking to gang members. This is what I did. I spoke to many children, underage children, that families were telling me, Dr. Kemi, don't mention my name or my son's name or my daughter's name. I have done a lot of extensive work on this case. And I'm on vacation. I'm not supposed to be online till February itself. I'm resting.
Dr. Kemi.
Yeah.
And I need you to hear me out. If these gangs truly belong or truly operated in this school, don't you think this is negligence on the part of the school and the housemaster?
Of course, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the testimony of these young underage kids, okay, who allegedly killed, okay, you see the word bully, take that away. This boy was not bullied. I'm not going to wait for you guys to start vindicating me 4 months later. Take the word bully out. Sylvester was not bullied. Where we're going right now in the investigation, somebody was saying on your video now that, can you call it freeze, Joe holds on. Where we're going now is not around where the investigation is going on right now. Okay, the police has gotten your assurance that nobody was flown abroad. They just need the public to trust them. What I'm saying now is that, hold on, please. I'm getting older, freeze, so I don't have the energy of doing this and that. What I'm saying now is that where we're going now is that Mrs. Phillips Ubadamosi is going to end up with several lawsuits for negligence, civil suits, because they may not charge this youngsters to court. There's a lot of stuff coming out that they're questioning them. They can't go out. They're in juvenile centers, prisons for children. There's a lot of things going on that they may not charge this case to court. If they charge the case to court, it would be likely the grown-ups, the 3 adults in custody, because they were negligent on behalf of the kids. Now, I know you said something about some housemasters, one housemaster quit or some of them quit. Yeah, I spoke to people that quit, past and present employees, but the fact is that they had people assigned to watch those kids. They were not there. They were doing other things. So Lammy Phillips will take the fall on that one. You know what I mean? But overall, if you were to ask me, those children may not be charged to court. This is Nigeria. Youth offender law is going to play, I don't know if it's the law in Nigeria, but it's going to play a very important part. Do you know when you expose a youth offender, you're also exposing their families? For example, if I tell you this big politician or this big businessman's son is the one, you expose the businessman, you affect them. People can go to their house and burn it down. Nigeria is a lawless country where the lawless people are the people themselves. This is a country where they'll put tires on you and petrol and burn you for stealing a phone. So you go and put they go to the person's house, they burn the house down. Look at the day that the children were hit at the Ojodu school. What did I say to my neighbor? I said, just watch. In about 15 minutes, they'll burn that trailer down. They did. So it's very important to protect the youth, their identity, okay, and also for their future. At the end of the day, what about the future of the child they killed? Allegedly killed? Yeah, what about the future of the... Exactly. What about the future of...
What happens to Sylvester's family?
Exactly. What happens to his family? What happens to the future of Sylvester that you caught short, allegedly? It's important. Which brings me back to that music artist that I said, made his own whatever. If that person was exposed at that time, that music artist, I'm sure he wouldn't be where he is today, because that would be a dent in his reputation. And I like that law, Youth Offender Act or law or whatever. But my own thing now is they should be looking towards a civil case against the school. The school is not going to reopen. I mean, the school should just file bankruptcy or be ready to start paying claims. Okay, they may not be able to file bankruptcy. But the insurance company is very important now. You know that, right? If Doan caught fire, freeze. If Doan caught fire now, and God forbid, these are examples. I don't like to see a school caught fire. Children are in there.
Don't even use that example.
No, let me give you what I'm saying. The school is empty now. Okay, the school is empty. Not even a rat inside the school. If that school was torched and it caught fire now, you know the first place that the owner is going to is the insurance company. The insurance company will pay them money for damages. Right now, I believe that the owner, Lami Phillips Badamosi, should go to the insurance company and start talking to them about claims. When claims are involved, you're going to pay a lot of damages. But insurance companies in Nigeria will not pay a penny for negligence. Do you understand me? They will not pay a penny for negligence. So I don't know what Miss Phillips was thinking. You know, she had people there supposed to be working and checking on the children. Those people were negligent because right now, Sylvester can't talk. Okay, dead man don't talk, but the others are talking. Overall, I don't think the children will be charged to court. And if they're charged to court, and if I'm wrong and they're charged to court, it'll be an internal review court session. Do you understand me? The media can be there. Nobody can see their faces. Nobody can take their picture. It's going to be one of those cases that if you use a phone in the courtroom, you know those judges that will seize your phone, you won't see that phone again. If you take pictures or do any funny, you won't see all that on live, BBC live, this one live. No, it's going to be an internal. You know how they do military courts, military trial, internal stuff, because they're youths and they're all under 18. So, but I've investigated a lot of facts that might come out. Freeze, don't you think you should bring a lawyer on this show, like on another show?
Oh, definitely.
You have to bring a lawyer.
That's what I want to give the opportunity for everyone to talk, including the Doan College management, the school themselves. I want to hear from them. I want to hear what they have. I want to hear from Stephen's father. I reached out to him. I tried to reach out to him.
You care,
but taking calls.
Freeze. I actually advised Stephen's father. I haven't spoken to him, but I advised him on a random tweet that the family needs to stop talking to the media. Do you know why? Did you see that tweet?
Why? No, I didn't see it. Twitter.
The first thing they need to do is to stop talking to the media. I said that to Sunday Igboho. They didn't listen until they listened. I even told them to pick somebody as a media spokesman. He picked you, Amiko Iki. They should not speak directly to the media. They should have a spokesperson. The reason why is because they will compromise the case. If they say something to the media, it'll be twisted. When Princess gave Punch the video of Baba Jesha and the girl, okay, she told Punch not to post that video, but just to look. Just don't do that. The media will post the video. And that's what Punch did. Okay, that's like me buying a goat for Christmas and I have a lion in my compound in a cage as security. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to the market to buy tomato, peppers, and everything to kill the goat and cook it. And I leave the goat in the lion cage. What's going to happen when I get back from the market? The lion would have eaten the goat. Simple. If you continue talking to the media, your story will be twisted to the point that when that case gets to court, it'll compromise the case. You'll lose. I'm not saying they're going to lose totally. We have to think about how this case is going to go. Is it going to get to court? No. Will the children be charged to court? Possibly no. Will the adults be charged to court? Yes. Will the adults lose in court? 5 out of 10. Even if the adults are acquitted, everything's going to boil down and come right back to the owner of the school. Please focus on the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? The damages, the money. Are the insurance company going to pay the damages? Negligence, they're not going to.
Auntie Kemi, I know I woke you up from sleep, and I'm glad you shared your perspective.
Sure.
Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. There are some things I would love to just quickly say. First things first, the fact that Stephen's father put him in that school doesn't mean he can afford it. I know many people's parents who prioritize education and would go over and beyond to give their children even what they feel they can't afford and what they didn't have growing up. So that is one note I made. Now, another issue I had with the school is, according to their claim, they handed over a sick child to the parents. That child, if he was as sick as the parents made it out to be, he had no business being in the school. In my humble opinion, he should have been in a hospital. The parents should have gone to either discharge him from a hospital, or he had no business being in the school for that long.
I want to say something about that. Coming from a medical perspective, schools have sick bays and nurses. They did not take that child.
A sick bay cannot take care of a child at that level.
No, what I'm saying is that before the child goes home, the nurse in the school or the doctor in the school or the school sick bay should have something to give the parents to work with. You can't hand over my child to me that's sick and I won't ask you questions. What happened?
Yes.
How long has he had this? You know what I mean? They handed that child to the family without any prior medical anything. Okay.
No, they must have had some first aid or stuff. But seeing that child needed to be in ICU.
Yeah. The difference between the date
in my humble opinion,
the video was made, that's a very important thing in the investigation. What day did they take that child out of doing? What day did they make that video they posted online? You know, we have this thing about posting stuff online, which is great. But the posting online has formed sentiments in Nigerians. So when you hear something like, oh, this boy really wanted to be part of them, you know what? When I watch that video, I can see that part. Ha, 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 you know, the pain. I see that part where maybe I shouldn't have tried something. Okay, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's leaning towards that side. I mean, freeze kilo so talk about it so to talk about and upon everything, okay. Did anybody have any phone in that school? They said they sometimes video themselves and all. Are there rules? Are there other Doan schools waiting in the wings? Like, if you your child is in a boarding school that's expensive like that in Lekki or anywhere else, let us hear from you. You know what I mean? It is very, very, very important that we know these things ahead of time. No child is going to be handed to me sick without me knowing prior stuff. This is what happened with the Karen Hipuchi girl now. Look at how Nigerians are. Someone died when I was in Abuja. I went to Abuja for the first time this year in May, June. This girl died in June. You are just protesting now. Nigerians follow the social media bandwagon. The girl had a condom found inside her body. The condom was lost inside her body and it caused sepsis.
Social media, restrictions. We can't mention all those graphic details, so they don't take down the video. If they take down the video, everything that we've done tonight would be lost. So
before I go, I want to talk about Sammy real quick. You know, Sammy was inside the building, Oshimono's building, right?
Yes.
People are saying they haven't heard anything. Yes. People are saying they have not heard anything about it. You know, I started that investigation. Maybe you remember.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, the reason why people haven't heard anything is because the governor swore the panel to secrecy. That is Nigeria for you. Did you know that, Freeze?
No, I'm not aware. I am not aware, and I don't like to put my hand inside government things.
Okay, yeah, but on the day that the panel was enacted, the panel was sworn to secrecy, meaning that nobody in the panel can say anything out. The governor will update the public. When the NSAS panel was also done, they were sworn to secrecy, and one person in the panel said, no, we're not swearing to secrecy. That little girl, Kilorukwe, the short little girl, Rinu Oduala, or refused. So when Rinu refused to sign that secrecy thing, then everybody else signed, and there was no secrecy in the NSAS panel. But this one panel, I was mad. I did a post about it. A building fell down. You have sworn structural engineers, architects. Who are these people? Are they current engineers? Who are they? Are they NSC engineers? But we don't know who they are. They just swore them on live TV to secrecy. So the governor will update everybody. But please, if you're in that area, just avoid that area, because right now, I don't know if you've heard, Freeze, I don't want to see anything graphic on the video. The smell in that area is horrible. It's horrible. Where are Gerard here? Oh my God, now. Dead bodies.
There are still bodies in that building.
There were at least 200 people were in the building. Oh my. And so you should not punch did a story with Ogufua's wife, the pastor. Pastor Ogufua, engineer Ogufua, he's an engineer, and he came with 20 boys, artisans, bricklayers, welders. And if you go to Punch newspaper, you'll see the video of Ogufua's wife with Punch. There's one comment there. My comment came on the top. I didn't use my verified account to comment. I used my personal Facebook account, but it's still on the top. Go and read my comments there. It's like a story. The woman that owns the buka across the road where they all eat, she was trapped under the rubble. A container fell on her buka. All her money, everything is still in there. By now, they've moved that, but she escaped. They pulled her out with powdery white stuff, concrete, but she lived to tell. And what she told me was that Ogufuwa actually came to the buka to eat around 4 o'clock, around 1 o'clock. What he did was he had the kini in front of him, the semo and the egusi. And the minute he was washing his hand to dip his hand in the food, Femi Oshimona reversed. Oshimona was out of the building with 2 girls, his PAs, those young NYSC girls. 2 girls, 1 Mopol officer and the driver. And it's a Rolls-Royce SUV. So what happened was they had already left. They were waiting for Wale Oseni to come for the meeting. Wale did not show up for the meeting. Meeting had finished. So on their leaving, Ogufuwa went to eat in the buka. There's a lot of lies and stuff on social media, but this is the real story. So as they're leaving, Wale pulls up in a Uber. So they now came out and went inside. Ogufuwa was called at the buka to follow them. Oshibona wanted to show Wale something on the 8th floor, a structural defect, nobody knows. But Ogufuwa told the buka lady, so she kept the food. He walked in the building with them. They got to the 8th floor because the elevator in the building only gets to the 15th floor. They added more floors to become 21. So there's no elevator from 15 to 21. People climbed the steps up there. So when they came, arriving at the 8th floor, Wale called the Uber outside, his driver, and told the guy, I'll be right out. We're on the 8th floor. That was the last phone call. They said when the elevator opened, bam, the whole thing came down. And that's how it happened. Minutes after this guy received the call, the building came down. So it was faked, F-A-T-E, faked. It was meant to happen. That's how Ogufuwa perished with all of them. They found the Mopol guy. Oh, he was really badly injured and died. The girls, they found the girls' bodies. They found Wale's body, and they also found the driver was never found, and Ogufuwa was never found. They were still in the rubble. So the interview with Punch and Adejuwon Ogufuwa. Femi came out. Now, you saw when they brought Femi's body out. I actually told people that Femi's body was brought out on a Wednesday, but they didn't announce it until a Thursday. They didn't want Wala. But you could see his hairline, everything. But at the end of the day, the facts was, the 20 boys that Pastor Gufua brought, they were in there too. There was almost 200 people in there. You see, what you work with as a journalist, I mean, it's a short investigation for me. It's on hold, question mark right now. What you work with is eyewitness accounts as much as you can, okay? Because, Alaja's daughter, this woman that does the book, I don't want to mention her name, but she's someone I know very well. And I did not know she was the daughter of that person. Alaja is my friend, but I did not know she was Alaja's stepdaughter, okay? Alaji's daughter, oldest daughter from another marriage. So it's amazing because those ones were not home for 2 days and I was wondering where they were. They were the rubble because their daughter and stepdaughter was there. But when she tells you stuff like that, she's an eyewitness. She owned the booker. She owned the food place. So she told me that...
our batteries die, and I don't lose.
Okay, so basically that was what happened. There was almost, she said it's almost 200. Almost 200.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. I pray Stephen gets justice. I pray Stephen's family get justice. I pray that
please help me greet Sammy's family. I didn't know he was your friend. Sammy.
I didn't know too. He was someone who followed me, but we never really got to talk because I never read his messages. But I chatted up his sister, and his sister has done so much trying to get her.
Is the one related to Stephanie Busari?
I don't know.
Stephanie's cousin was also in there. But please greet. I don't know. It's too sad.
Yes, I pray the family finds peace. I pray that it's such a monumental loss.
Yeah, it is.
It's a monumental loss and a huge
dent. People stop, and anytime Benny via at Ikoyi people needs to stop. I grew up in Ikoyi at 13 years old. They are all complaining to Lagos State government because of the stench in the area is covering the whole of Ikoyi. But please, people died there. They'll get to it. Lagos State government says they're not planning to demolish the rest, and that they're doing integrity tests on the rest of the building. Many of the people that bought the one that fell, they've been calling me, where's our money? What will happen? It's gone. Life is short. Femi ran the company out of his phone and his house. That's it. There was no corporate office and there's not been any professional representation. We have to learn from these. My lawyer brought it. We have to learn. But
absolutely.
with Sylvester, may his soul rest in peace. We need to move on, and we need to find these kids. We need to move on. We need to have people take accountability. You can't sit in your mansion and be chilling and say you have teachers watching your school and they're not watching the school. Kids are doing their own things on the side. They have to take responsibility and accountability. So I'm not the one that people should be yapping or I'm a mother. When I'm doing journalism, I don't care if I'm a mother. I'm a journalist. Period. I'm not sentimental.
God bless you.
All right. Take care. So you know what? Turn back your comments and your people, and they can comment. Now take their questions self. Take care. I'll be watching if you're still here.
Only for 5 minutes. Sorry, I can't. The battery will die. So guys, your comments have been turned on. Please be respectful. I'll just cut you off. My final take on this is I pray Sylvester's family finds peace. I pray we get justice. I pray that any of those involved in the passing of this young man, I pray they're all brought to book. And I pray this sets a precedent in the Nigerian educational system, not just in primary or secondary schools, but as far as the tertiary institutions, showing that can be held accountable for negligence. And no matter how rich your parents are, parents also need to understand that whatever their minors do would bounce back, would reflect in their faces. So they also need to be extra careful. So guys, thank you so much.
Nothing is being swept under the carpet. Nothing. The police is working this case Christmas, New Year. Nothing. So trust the police. They're not playing, no, not even this Lagos State police. Take care, Freeze. Love you.
I enjoyed the session. Some people are saying it was very revealing. A lot was told. Like I said, Auntie Kemi is the one with the facts. Me, I don't know the facts. Me, I'm just asking questions and working on my assumptions. In this case, I'm being less of a journalist and more of a sympathizer with a family who has a 12-year-old son. So I myself, if I were to wear my journalist shoes, I would probably have to be on neither side. But unfortunately, I'm leaning more towards the side of the family because of the boy. We all have kids. And sometimes when you see a kid lose his life, especially with regards to issues bordering on a school system that, in my humble opinion, is seemingly flawed, then I think I have to talk about that. Thank you very much, Auntie Kemi. It was wonderful.
You're welcome. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Freeze. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
So, guys, thank you so much. That's as far as I can go. Let me also go. Do take care of yourselves and stay blessed, and keep the family of Stephen, also the family of, that's the family of Sylvester. Sorry, forgive me, I'm tired. The family of Sylvester in your prayers. And I do hope that with this incident, the face of Nigerian education is going to have an overhaul. Take care and God bless you.